HETMA is the Higher Education Technology Managers Alliance, and we are a end user advocacy group for those AV professionals, technology managers that work for universities and colleges. And initially it started as across the United States, and we just wanted to bring everybody together because we all have a very similar job and that do a little different things, and we wanted to be able to share everything that we're doing and collaborate and whatnot. And so once we started, we were like, we've really got something here. So we kind of started expanding a little bit into Canada and other elsewhere in the world. But we were like, now we're going to just take this opportunity to really branch out and make the effort to reach those schools in the EMEA and really go global. I mean, we're definitely known for our happy hours and our social events, but we're so much more. We're an online community. We're a resource. We have lunch and learns and a virtual conference every year, as well as doing regional small road shows. And our next one is coming up in March in Toronto, Ontario. And we have different programs like the HETMA approved program, where we have members testing out equipment that manufacturers send to us, and then it gives our community some opportunities to try equipment that they may not normally get to try. But also then if they know that something is HETMA approved, they know for sure that the equipment's going to work in their area or in their universities or colleges, and it's going to do what it says it's going to do without having to do all of that testing on their own, because we're all so busy. We all wear a bunch of hats. So to be able to know that it's going to work without doing that legwork is really helpful. But for those who like to do the testing, they also have that ability. And it gives some of these opportunities to smaller schools, because a lot of times manufacturer representatives, they only have so much time. So they really kind of tend to hit the big schools, or it's difficult to travel to smaller schools. So we try to bring those opportunities that large schools always get to the smaller ones. So it's a fantastic resource for everybody, and really bringing us all together. Yeah, so I pretty much, it really is about making sure that all of the things are getting the right attention. So with our, we have advisory boards also that we do, and we have flex space and higher ed AV media. So really, as the chair, I'm kind of trying to make sure that all of that runs seamlessly together, and finding the right people to kind of head up those areas, because I absolutely can't do it all myself. But making sure that all the parts are coming together, and then also trying to be strategic about what's next and staying on top of kind of all of the innovative things that are happening in the AV space, and pulling it into our group to see what's going to benefit us coming up.
Joe and I have gone way back, talking about higher ed AV. Joe is the co-founder of HETMA with BC, with him working in USC at the time, and I was working in University College Dublin at the time, and just getting to know what technology he was putting in. We started doing some podcasts together. Then higher ed AV became HETMA, and things grew from there. I've always kept in contact with him. Even between doing LTSMG and SCOMS, I knew there was this big alliance that was happening over in the States. Meeting Joe at different events and coming over to ISE, the talks of doing more podcasts together, so Across the Ponds podcast. And then from that, being over at Infocom, sitting down and talking about, well, we need to get a vertical, the higher ed vertical, represented over in Europe. Do you want to try and take this on? So I thought about it for a while, and then in January we made the big announcement that we are going to try and represent more universities across Europe that aren't being represented currently with higher ed AV. Yes, there is representation in UK and Ireland, but I find that across Europe it's very edtech driven, and there's a lot of small universities that mightn't have heard of this organisation that you can become part of. So first things first, we need to set up a European committee and different chapters. One of our biggest barriers, of course, is going to be a language barriers. I don't speak multiple languages, so trying to find some people that are involved in audiovisual, in higher education in different areas, whether it be France, Germany, the Netherlands. Of course, here we are in Spain. We want some Spanish speakers as well. Get them together, try and do some roadshows at their universities as a starting point with HETMA. We also want to get the smaller universities that aren't being represented and join us. Of course, in 2 weeks' time, after all of ISE, we have the HETMA virtual conference that usually takes place in American time zones. We're talking about already like, well, if it's not this year, we should be doing a 24-hour stint because of the time differences over in the west coast of America. We are going to complement each other. We're not in competition with the LTSMGs and the SCOMs. You know, we're an advocacy group. We're creating awareness of higher ed in audiovisual. Like I remember my first ISE where I moved from a private sector, a private company, financial firm to work in higher ed. There was a time where we would come to ISE where people didn't want to talk to the higher ed technicians or technology managers simply on the thoughts that they might not have the budget that the big guns might have. So now with HETMA, it's representing on a global scale what we are trying to achieve here. So even if you are a small university, whether you be in America, whether you be in Europe, you're being represented. You know, it's great that we're getting to the size, Guy, that we can also offer training courses and work alongside, as you mentioned, AVIXA, doing workshops, doing higher ed summits that's happening over in America, that we will also try and do at ISE in the future with them as well. Do you know what? It's great to have the HETMA booths this year, especially when, you know, less walking around, Guy, because we can tell the manufacturers to come visit us. We have a spot on the show floor this year that, you know, if you have started, and the great thing is I've met some of colleagues and friends over in Ireland that it's their first time at ISE, and they're working in higher ed, and being able to come here, pick up one of our maps, see where we're going, learn about HETMA, learn about the training courses that we offer, and get involved. Well, I will say Gur Margus, which means thank you, and thank you for having us on AV Magazine, and thank you, and come by the HETMA booth if you're over at ISE and get involved with HETMA, because we are going to do some great things in Europe.